What's going on, TW fans? Jake here, bringing you this week's episode of What's in Your Tackle Warehouse. Hopefully you're getting a chance to get out there on the water. Springtime's winding down, about to get into that summer transition. We got a couple sweet baits for you today. We got some new outerwear from Hook, so let's jump right into it. So the first one, new swim bait, super excited about this one. I love throwing swim baits, and this is the new JSJ Weedless Hitch 6. So if you're not familiar with JSJ, John St. John out of California has been making swim baits for a long time, and he's made some of the best swim baits on the market. This bait in particular was over 2 years in development, and this is a completely, full body weedless swim bait. It's awesome. Some of the things that they did to this bait that are pretty unique. One is this integrated spring keeper system on here. So this is meant to be rigged on a screw lock style hook, but you don't actually have to use the spring that comes with the hook. You just snap it right onto this little piece right here on the nose, and you don't have to worry about getting that spring perfectly straight and centered and balanced just right. It's already done for you. You can just snap the hook on and you're ready to go. And since it's made to feed fish with one of those weedless style screw lock hooks, it's got the belly on the bottom, and then it's got a nice channel on the top for the hook to sit in. So it stays, perfectly weedless. You can see all the details on this bait, the fins, the scales, the paint jobs. I mean, this thing's gonna get, it looks super lifelike once it hits the water. So now you can fish like a big full body swim bait. You can fish these things through any type of cover where you can't fish a lot of, top hook baits or glide baits and stuff like that. You're gonna get that nice lifelike presentation with the weedless bait. And it's got this big tail on the back, so you can see pretty innovative design. It gets a nice wide kicking action, just awesome bait. It's made out of a unique mix that JSJ's came up with. It's a really unique plastic blend, so it's really soft, but it's actually super durable as well. So you don't have to worry about this bait getting torn up after a fish or two. This thing's gonna last a long time. And it's so lifelike, and now you're getting into those areas where you've never been able to get baits this size and this realistic into areas. So just super cool bait by JSJ. Check out that Weedless Hitch 6. Next, frog season, about to be red hot. A lot of people have already been throwing frogs across the country, but summertime is the best time to be out there throwing frogs. We got the new Spro Bronzeye Poppin' 70 frog. So this is the biggest poppin' frog in the Spro Bronzeye lineup. It's, as you can see, it's not a small frog. It weighs 3/4 of an ounce, and it's built around this 5/0 Gamakatsu hook. So 5/0 hook, you're gonna be able to throw this thing, catch big fish, throw it into cover, 65-pound braid, get them out, no problem. With this bigger profile of this Poppin' 70 frog, you're getting that bigger mouth on there, so the popping action is going to be a lot louder. So you're going to get more spray, more gurgling, more chugging, just attract fish from a greater distance away. You can fish this over mats and grass and stuff too, so you're getting the action of both frogs in one. So, fish it over grass and vegetation, and you can pop it out there in that open water. And then since the body's so much longer, it actually walks really well, as well. So, getting that frog to do, anything you want. Walk it, pop it, fish it over, mats. Spro's have been making some of the best frogs on the market for decades, and, just adding this one to their lineup. Dean Rojas has made frog fishing super famous, so make sure you add this new Poppin' 70 to your lineup. Next up from Lunker Hunt. So we got this new Lunker Hunt /12S suspending jerkbait. So as you can see here, the long tapered baitfish body on there, super realistic. They got a lot of, highly detailed features like the checkered scale patterns, 3D eyes, so super realistic. But obviously the biggest thing on here is this big giant lip on there, and the way it's angled, this thing catches water immediately when you throw it out there, and it gets down to 12 feet, and it gets down in that deeper range, and it perfectly suspends. So it's got a great, wide wobbling swimming action, and it erratically darts whenever you twitch it, and then it's gonna stop and perfectly suspend. So as the fish are moving out into those summertime patterns and you're fishing the, deeper water, this is gonna be a good bait to get down to them. Some of the jerkbait, most jerkbaits only go about 3 to 5 feet. This is gonna get down to where those deeper fish are at and be able to call them up off ledges and deep points and things like that when they start to school here in the summer. You can even troll this bait. It's gonna be a good wintertime bait as well when you're fishing out deeper and you need that bait to get down there and just sit there and suspend. This is gonna be the one you wanna check out. 3 hooks on there, super sharp razor hooks, so you're gonna have great hookup ratios. They've got a bunch of awesome colors, so check out that new Lunker Hunt /12S. Right, next up from Humdinger. Humdinger's been making awesome lures, spinner baits and stuff for years. Now they've got their own vibrating jig. So this is a really cool vibrating jig. They've done a couple things with this vibrating jig. So on the head, they're using like a traditional Arky style head, so it's nice and round. It comes over wood and rocks and stuff really well. And then they've also got their own unique blade shape. So this blade on here, it's able to stay balanced and run true if you're fishing it really, really slow, or you can fish it really, really fast and it's not gonna blow out on you. So that's super unique to this jig. And then it's also got the hand-tied skirt, so super high quality. You don't have to worry about bands rotting, falling away. That skirt's gonna stay on there. You can catch tons of fish on it and it's not gonna get torn up and fall off. They've got that stack cone keeper on there. I like these keepers a lot, especially for like Elastec plastics. It's gonna hold those plastics on there really well. Down on the hook, they've got a Mustad Ultra Point hook, so you're gonna get great hook penetration, and you're gonna have plenty of power to get fish out and away from cover. Just something different. It's had a little bit different vibration. You're gonna get a little bit different signature in the water than all the other vibrating jigs on the market. We know just about everyone is going down the bait with a jackhammer or a Thunder Cricket. You wanna show them something different. You can fish this at all different speeds and, just maybe put a few more fish in the boat. All right, so we just brought in a bunch of stuff from Venture Lures. So the first two are a couple of their new soft plastics. This one is Venture Lures' new Twin Tail Grub, and this new one is their BRS Craw. Now I'm holding them up together because the body shape is very similar to these. I really like these. They're gonna be great finesse jig trailers. So this body, it's got that heavy ribbing on it, and they both have a flat bottom. So this is actually gonna help you skip baits a little bit easier as well. So if you have to skip a lot of docks or a lot of overhanging brush, these are gonna be great trailers. If you want something a little bit less action, you wanna go with that BRS Craw. If you need a little bit more action, you want a little bit of flapping, go with that Twin Tail Grub. These are super high quality plastics. These are all hand pour baits, so it's hard to find companies that are still, taking the time to hand bore baits and getting some really cool colors. These are a couple good ones from Venture Lures. And the one I'm most stoked about from Venture Lures is the new Skinny Mini. So this is a new drop shot bait they came out with. So just a little bit different than your standard 4-inch worm. So it comes in at 3.75 inches. And it just has a little bit more details than a worm would have on it. It's made to imitate a small bait fish. There's some gills and eyes and scales and stuff molded into the body shape itself. And again, just with those hand pours, the pictures don't do them justice. When you get these things out in the light and you see all the flake and the detail that are in these plastics, that's what I look for. I really like those small hand pour company worms. That small taper tail on there, they're using a proprietary plastic that actually, it suspends. So when you rig this on a drop shot, it's gonna sit perfectly horizontal, look just like a suspended bait fish. That taper tail on there, just a little bit of movement is gonna get that thing to quiver and move just like a little bait fish would. They've got some awesome, awesome bait fish colors. If you're looking for new drop shot bait, especially you guys up north, smallmouth fishermen, this, from Venture Lures, you wanna check that one out. They came out with a couple jig heads as well. So we got their new Traverse football head, so, small football head. Double barb keeper on there, Gamakatsu hook, so super, super sharp. One thing I liked about this the most is the really thick powder coating that they put on these jig heads. So you're gonna be able to go over a lot of rocks and, jagged pieces of cover, fishing out deep on ledges, and you're not gonna tear this powder coating up like you would some other jig heads on the market. So really good, small football head if you just need a small football head for, small finesse stuff. And then they got their new custom ball head, and this new model actually has a Hayabusa hook in it. So if you've never used a Hayabusa hook, they are sticky sharp. I've used their drop shot hooks before, and they absolutely penetrate and do not lose fish. So it's an awesome hook. They've got a recessed line tie in there, so help protect those knots a little bit. Double barb keeper as well, but on this this ball head, they have a flat back on the back, so it's able to match up, especially with those small swim baits. So finesse fishing, you got those times when you got those little swim baits to get bites, this is gonna be a great jig head for that. All right, from Norries, we got another little finesse plastic. This one, I've seen some underwater footage of this and it looks awesome. This is the Norries Pad 2. So it's kind of a hybrid bait. We're calling it a creature bait, but it's really, it's a hybrid between a hollow body tube and like a creature bait all in one. So it does have a hollow body, and the plastic that they're using to make this bait actually, it floats or suspends as well. So if you fish it on like a really, really small Carolina rig or like a split shot rig, you know, this bait is just gonna kind of hover and suspend right above the bottom and slowly sink down. If you fish on a drop shot, it's perfectly gonna, you know, it's gonna sit horizontal. It just gets a great finesse action, you know, like it has this little flap on there, super natural looking. You can even fish it on a small jig head or even like a Ned head, and it's because the plastic that it's made out of, it stands straight up and gets you know, floats perfectly straight up and down. This thing's also loaded with scent as well, so you know, don't have to add anything to it, ready to fish right out of the package. Cool little plastic, probably not a lot of people are throwing, and when it's getting tough, especially this time of year, this might be one you want to throw in your arsenal. All right, got a bunch of gear from Hook. So summertime, you know, got to get some new gear, get some new shirts, you know, be looking good when you're out there on the water. I forgot to mention this one last week. So new t-shirt, this one's a Casey Scott design. This is a Casey crank shirt, back on the back. It's got a sweet graphic of a bass just tearing up a little Fire Tiger square bill crankbait. These shirts are super comfortable. We've also got this one, the new blue flagfish shirt. You know, got the nice American flag bass on the back. You know, these shirts are made out of cotton poly blend. They're super comfortable. One of the other things we wanted to touch on is their new Icon X refraction hoodie. So personally, I think Hook makes one of the best sun shirts on the market. It's really soft material, and it's got the moisture transport system in there. So like, you know, it pulls moisture away from your body and, you know, gets that sweat away and dries out really, really quick. So to keep you cool and comfortable. And also on their sun shirts, on the hood as well, they've got that mesh material on the hood, on the back, and under the arm. So you get a lot of airflow in these shirts, which is, you know, in the middle of the summer when you need to keep cool, this is going to be one you want to check out. We've also got it in a non-hooded shirt as well if you don't like the hood. But personally, I love the hood. Just, you know, prevents having to wear a mask. I like that. Seems to be more comfortable for me. Then we also got their new original board shorts. We got them in a couple colors. You know, they got pockets on the back. They've even got plier holders, and then they have a full zipper on the front, which I think is a little more comfortable than the standard, you know, like Velcro ones. So great board shorts. We got some new hats. So you always need, you know, as fishermen always go through hats. We got the new camo bass hat. And to go along with that refraction camo shirt, we got a matching hat to go with it as well in multiple colors. And last but not least, we got new colors of their Rogue Wave boot. So short boot. They came out with this boot a few years ago. Now we got a bunch of new colors in for the season. So obviously great for wintertime, fully waterproof rubber boot. They got a neoprene interior, super soft insole, super comfortable to sit in all day. They got that non-slip traction on the bottom, non-marking, so you're not gonna scuff up your boat. But if you're doing any kind of saltwater fishing this summer, you know, if you're down in the Gulf or you're off the coast of California, if you're going out tuna fishing, salmon, halibut, whatever, the short boots are the way to go in the summertime. You wear these with your shorts, and they're just a little bit more comfortable and a little cooler than wearing the full long boots out there on the saltwater boats all day. So make sure to check out all the new Hook gear. That's just a few of the things that we got in. We got a bunch of stuff on our apparel page. Just wanted to show you a few that, you know, highlight a couple. All right, so that's what we got for you today. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of What's New TW. For more information and to purchase these products seen here today, make sure to click shop or the link in the description below. If you enjoyed this week's video, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and let us know in the comments which one of these products you're most excited about.